Page 242, continuing lesson 410 on relating tables, graphs, and equations. We're going to look at number 4 on the do you know how. So on number 4, they want us to use the equation d equals 4t. And first of all, we're going to complete the table. D is representing the distance and t is representing the time. So they have given us some numbers that they want us to substitute in place of t. So that's what we're going to do first. So first of all, if we just take our equation, I'm going to put a 1 in place of the t. So 4 times 1 is 4. So if the time is 1, the distance is 4. Then we're going to substitute a 2 in place of the t. 4 times 2 is 8. And then we'll substitute a 3 in place of the t. And we would get 12. So that would fill out the table. Number 5, name 4 ordered pairs found on the line plotted using this equation. Well, we've got 3 of them already from our table. We've got 1, 4, 2, 8, and 3, 12. Another option then, logically, would be maybe we would try 4. So 4 times 4 would be 16. So another point we could have would be 4, 16. Other possibilities, if you did something different, you could have done 0, 0. You could have done 5, 20. You could have done 10, 40. Okay, there's an infinite number of possibilities. As long as you got 4 of those, you're good. Number 6, describe the relationship between the variables. So just thinking about the equation, we had d equals 4t. It'd be easier just to write it. D equals 4t. Okay, so think about the relationship between the variables. So a couple of ways we could say that. We could say the distance equals 4 times the time, or we could say the time is 1/4 of the distance. Kind of just depends on your perspective, but I think with the equation, probably the first one would be what I would probably go with, but either one of those would be correct. We look at number 7. They want us to complete the table and the graph to show a relationship between the variables in the equation d equals 5 plus 5t. So for that equation, we're going to substitute in again. First, they're saying if t equals 0. So if we do that, multiply before you add. So 5 times 0 is 0. And then 5 plus 0 is 5. So if we put a 0 in for t, we get 5 for d. Next, they want us to put a 2 in place of t. So 5 times 2 is 10. And then 5 plus 10 is 15. The last one is blank. So they didn't tell us what to do. We get to pick whatever number we want within reason, because we've already got a graph here. The x-axis is like our time. So if you'll notice on the x-axis, I mean right on the edge here, I guess we could say is 5. Time is 5. I for sure wouldn't pick anything bigger than 5 to put in place of the t. You could just go along and put a 3 if you want, or let's try a 4 and see what happens maybe. I'm going to try 4. So 4 in place of t. 5 times 4 is 20. And then if we add those, it's 25. We want to double check also that our y value is not too big. 25 is kind of a big y value. But if you'll notice the distance, we do go up. 25 is okay, so that would work for this graph. Another option you could do, you could have put a 1 in. If you put a 1 in, you would get 10. Another option would be if you put a 3 in, you would get 20. So those points would work as well. And then at that point, we're just graphing those on the graph here. So we've got 0, 5, 2, 15, and then I chose 4, 25. Again, 1, 10 would be a point that would work, and 3, 20 would be another point that would work. So those blue points are optional. Red is what I chose, and then we can just draw a line through those points. When you go to draw your line, if you want to use the edge of a ruler or just the edge of a piece of paper would work, just to make it a straight line, it's fine. But this should be what's happening when you do your graphs at this point. The graph should make a straight line. If your points are not lined up with each other, if it doesn't make a straight line at this point, then you made a mistake somewhere. Later on in math, we will get into graphing things that don't make straight lines, but for right now, we're just starting out with this idea, so the lines should always be straight lines for you. We're going to look at some problems on workbook page 59, starting with number 3. So forensic anthropologists analyze skeletons to help solve crimes. They can use the length of a femur bone to estimate the height of the skeleton. The height of the skeleton is about 30 inches taller than twice the length of the femur bone. So if we let H represent the height of the skeleton and let F represent the length of the femur bone, they want us to write an equation to represent the height of the skeleton. So the height of the skeleton is what we're trying to find. So we'll probably go ahead and start with that on our equation. So H equals something. So the height of the skeleton equals something. The question is, what is that something? Well, it's 30 inches taller than twice the length of the femur bone. So if F is the length of the femur bone, they're telling us here, F is the length of the femur bone. We have twice the length of the femur bone, so that would be 2F, 2 times F, and it's 30 inches taller than that. 30 inches taller than that. So it'd be 2F plus 30, or you could do 30 plus 2F would work also. Okay? And they're not asking us to figure anything out here. They're just asking what the equation is. You know, from there you could say, well, what if the femur bone was 20 inches long? Then you could figure out they would have been 70 inches tall. Okay, for example. If we look at number 4, oh, and here's the follow-up, sorry. Rhonda is 5 feet tall. About how long is her femur? So what we want to do, we want to think about if she's 5 feet tall, everything else was in inches. So we want to change that feet into inches. So 12 times 5, that would be 60 inches. Okay, so she's 60 inches tall, and we want to figure out how long the femur would be. So if the height is 2 times the femur plus 30, so if her height's 60, we want to figure out what F is equal to. One way we could do this, we could just guess numbers to see what works. Just keep guessing, like, well, what if it was 10? So you could say, well, whoops, 2 times 10 is 20 plus 30 is 50. That'd be 50. We want 60, so that's not enough. What if we try 20? That'd be 40 plus 30 would be 70. And then one observation here is we got 50, then we got 70, we want 60, which is right in the middle. That's what's going to work out. We tried 10, we tried 20. The answer then should be right in the middle, which would be 15. The other way of doing this, which we'll get into more next year, is we could subtract 30 on both sides of the equation and then divide by 2. This is called a two-step equation because there's 2 steps to it. When you do that, 30 divided by 2 would be 15. Okay, so that's another option for you. That's kind of a preview of things to come. So if you're not to that point yet, just guess numbers until you get something that works. So on the next page, we're going to look at number 6. They want us to use the information from exercise 5 to write an equation that represents the number of calories burned each minute while bowling. So we're going to have M represent the number of minutes a 125-pound person bowls, and then C is representing the number of calories burned. If you go back to the previous problem, basically they're saying for a 125-pound person, they burn 3 calories per minute. 3 calories burned per minute. Okay? So if we're doing this problem, probably we're going to try and find, we're probably interested in trying to find how many calories we've burned. So I'm going to do C equals something, calories burned equals something. And again, they're saying if we burn 3 calories every minute, well, let's just think of some examples then. Calories in minutes. If we bowled for 1 minute, wouldn't be very long bowling. 1 minute we would burn 3 calories. 2 minutes we would burn 6 calories, and so on. 3 would be 9. Okay? So from that, calories equals what? Well, how do we get from 1 to 3, 2 to 6, and 3 to 9? And that would be multiplying by 3. So the calories are equal to 3 times the number of minutes. Or you could have C equals M times 3. If you do it that way, you need parentheses around something, though. So if you look at number 7, they want us to complete the table for the equation we wrote in exercise 6. So we're going to do an equation, or a table here rather. They don't have anything, they don't have any numbers. They've got labeled minutes and calories, but they don't have anything labeled. Like I said, it's probably not going to happen that we're only going to bowl for 1 minute. Okay, we're probably going to bowl longer than that. So I'm going to pick some different numbers a little bit higher. You know, maybe is it reasonable? Maybe we would bowl for 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, that would be 90 calories. Maybe we bowl for 60 minutes. So an hour, that would be 180 calories. Maybe we bowl for 90 minutes, an hour and a half. That'd be 270 calories. Okay, so these would be some possibilities. Again, you could have picked 1, 2, and 3, I guess, although it's probably not reasonable with how long we would actually bowl. In the book, they did 10, 20, and 30. I think that's probably a little bit on the low side, so that's why I just picked some bigger numbers. And then we're going to try and graph these. So I'll just put this over here so I can see what I'm looking at. All right, so for the minutes, I went up to 90 minutes. Looks like we can go by tens and be okay if you want. If you want to go by 30s, would work as well there. For the calories, those are going up quicker, so we're not going to be able to go by tens and get up to 270. We're going to have to pick bigger numbers for that. So I guess I'll just go by 30s. Okay, as long as it's enough for us to be able to get our points on the graph, that's kind of what we're mainly focusing on here. So 30, 90, we've got 60 and 180, and we got 90, 270. And we're staying in the first quadrant because we can't bowl negative minutes and gain calories, I guess. Doesn't work that way. So a graph would look something like this. Again, if you pick different numbers, your graph might look a little different, but something to this effect. So this gives you an idea of how to relate tables, graphs, and equations. Have a good day.